Everything in this city was to be destroyed. You understand? And the Lord said that, read that again.
Verse 18. And ye, in any wise, keep yourself from the accursed thing.
He said, keep yourself from the accursed thing. Read.
Lest ye make yourself accursed.
Unless you become accursed individually. But your individual self is going to affect who? Keep reading.
When ye take off the accursed thing and make the camp of Israel accursed.
And you're going to make Israel accursed. Because since you're not obeying the Lord, you're going to curse your nation. You understand? Keep reading.
And make the camp of Israel accursed and trouble it.
Keep reading.
For all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron and the consecrated unto the Lord, they shall come into the treasury of the Lord.
You see that? So all of these things were to become a treasury unto the Lord. You are not supposed to keep things onto yourself. Barak, let them know what this is talking about.
This context is, of course, after Rahab the harlot was delivered for saving the Israelite spies. The context behind this is that on the pretext of us going to wars with the Canaanites, not to pick up anything of their belongings, that would be an accursed thing that would possibly lead to selfishness, idolatry, or things of unrighteous unrighteous behavior that would then cause a plague to come amongst the Israelites and cause us to fall before him.
That's right.
Remember, Joshua at this time is the leader of the Israelites, consecrated after Moses' death.
That's right, an Ephraimite. Let's go to Joshua 7:1. You know I have to throw that in there. Joshua 7:1.
This is Joshua chapter 7, verse 1. But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed things.
See that? Even listen, the Lord said, "Don't do this," and what do we do as Israel all the time? We go and do it. Why? Because of the lust of the flesh. That's why. Not all lust is evil. No, we ain't Christians in lust. Ooh. Nah. It's okay to lust after righteousness. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to lust and want certain things as long as it's all confined to the laws of God. Con? Read.
But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabadi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel.
Jump to verse 19. So everybody understanding the context, right? I'm bringing this up for a reason. To show you that your secret sins that you bury under your tent affect the body that you're in. That's why I'm bringing this up. So everything that you have locked behind the door, you're affecting your brother. You're affecting your sister. You understand? And we've all fell victim to this. Okay? Read.
This is Joshua chapter 7, verse 19. And Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done. Hide it not from me. And Achan answered Joshua and said, indeed, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel, and thus have I done.
So, the reason why he had to confess is because Israel began to what? Began to lose. Israel began to not be able to conquer the nations around them. So, what did Joshua know? One of y'all niggas sinned, man. One of y'all did something. And he confessed to it. Okay? Keep reading.
Verse 20. And Achan answered Joshua and said, Indeed, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel, and thus have I done.
Read.
Verse 21. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment.
And a lot of brothers and sisters have a Babylonish garment in their closet right now, in this class and in the Zoom. And that shit haunts them. And they try to put it away. They try to get rid of it. But it continues to come back to haunt you. You understand? But you have to fight. Because your mind is going to play tricks on you all day long. You understand? Huh? Ghetto boys. Right. Ghetto boys. Anyway, slack here. Keep reading.
And 200 shekels of silver and a wage of gold of 50 shekels weight. Then I coveted them and took them, and behold, there are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent. In the midst of my tent, and the silver under it.
So you see that? He hid it under his tent because it was beautiful to the eye. He knew what he did is going to affect everybody around him. But since he could not resist the lust of his flesh, he still put it under his tent. You want to know what happened to them? His entire house got wiped out. His entire lineage got wiped out of Israel. He said, nah, man. I'm going to make you an example to be written. You understand? Let's get Luke. Matter of fact, in the spirit, let's get Sirach 2:1 real fast. Get Sirach 2:1, Mayar. You get Luke 11:24.
Book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 1.
I brought this up before, right? How when you come into this walk, this shit ain't peachy and creamy. This shit ain't no prosperity gospel. You're going to suffer. Not just because you're doing things good, but because you know better and you're going to do things wrong and the Lord's going to come whoop your ass because of it. You understand? Yeah. He chastised whom he loves to continue to put you in remembrance on where you went wrong. Read.
My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
You have to prepare your soul for temptation. You have to prepare your soul for temptation because you will be tempted. And God does not tempt you. Your own flesh does. You understand that? Luke 11:24.
This is Luke chapter 11, verse 24. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man.
So when you first come into this walk, that unclean spirit be gone. You stop eating pork. You ain't committing you're not doing no damn holidays. You on the straight and I'm a soldier of God. YHWH. You the illest outward Jew in the world. You fringe up everything, thinking a t-shirt is a garment, but that's a whole nother lesson. You fringe up everything. You got the 4 strings hanging from your shirt, like if them shits is in the Bible, but anyway, that's a whole nother lesson. You understand? You start doing all these things, and it's right. There's nothing wrong with it, though. You have a zeal for God. Right. You're learning all these things, so you're trying to do your best. But you know what you forgot? You forgot to prepare yourself for temptation. You forgot the principal things. To get ready to suffer. Get ready to get tempted by that old man that you once were. That weed demon that you had, it's going to come back. That lust demon that you had, it's going to come back. Read it again from the top.
This is Luke chapter 11, verse 24. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places.
That unclean spirit walketh through dry places. Read.
He walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none. he said, I will return unto my house whence I came out.
So when you purge out that clean spirit and you become a new man, that spirit wanders. But this is parabolically. The spirit's not literally like, what am I doing? I need rest. No, he's saying that old man's going to creep up again. It's that simple. That old man is going to say, nigga, remember them days, son? And try to dap you. Yeah. Leave that nigga hanging. You understand? Leave that nigga hanging, huh? Read.
Verse 25. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished.
And when that old man creeps back up, he's like, man, this nigga, he keeping the laws of God. This nigga been working out, he eating good, he detoxing. This nigga, god damn, he got shit hanging on his shirt. What the hell's going on here? This nigga, you know it's true, that's why. This nigga on point. What the hell going on here? Read.
Verse 26. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits.
We gotta get him.
Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits.
He taketh unto him what?
7 other spirits.
7 other spirits.
Or
so when you think you were good and you got rid of that old man, just because you entertain that shit for 5 seconds, the shit becomes to consume you. That's what this is saying. Read it again.
Then goeth he.
Huh? He ain't leave him hanging, huh? He dapped that nigga up. Fuck it, my nigga. Let's chill. I ain't see you in a minute, my nigga. Ah!
Verse 26.
Uh-huh.
Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself.
That shit consumes you. What you tried to put away, you hugged him again. That's what happens. You went right back to that shit. Read.
And they entered in.
And they entered in that clean, garnished house. Yeah?
And dwell there. And the last state of
and the last state. Go ahead.
And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
And the last state of that man became worse than what he originally was. You want to know why? Because you fucking know better. But that shit will consume you. And it will affect everybody around you. Do you understand that? 1 Corinthians chapter 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Slakia. Verse 1. I'm going to show you there's something very ancient that has plagued not just the nation of Israel, but this earth. A very ancient thing. And this ancient thing is something that is supposed to be sacred. You understand? This thing is supposed to be sacred. But instead, people go to and fro on this earth, marrying and giving into marriage. They go to and fro on this earth and are consumed by their flesh. And if it wasn't, let me tell you something. Look, really think about this. If it wasn't for us having each other, how consumed will you be? Think about that. Because every time every one of us in this room and in the Zoom bucks up, who do we go to? We don't just go to the Lord. We come to each other. Yo, listen, man, I'm dealing with A, B, and C. Sometimes it takes a year just for you to admit that sin and finally come to the brother. But you know what? In every council I've been in and every council I've given, the person you're talking to or the person that is telling you their secret sin, you already knew it in the spirit. But you have to wait for that brother to admit it and come clean. You understand? So there's something very ancient that we're going to talk about. And what it is sexual deviancy. And let me tell you something. Sexual deviancy is plaguing the nation of Israel. plaguing it. Because since we've been placed on this earth, all we've been influenced is with sexuality. From our cartoons to that channel when we were young in the 90s. Some brothers might not remember. Well, you know, you had to fix the antenna on the top, and if you finally get a glimpse of the boob, y'all know what I'm talking about. All the grown niggas know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Uncut. Remember BET Uncut? Niggas stood up till 3 in the morning to watch BET Uncut. I know what I'm talking about, man. Niggas, we all done been there. We're men and women. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. You understand? Huh? Yeah, some women are worse. Because there's something plaguing our nation that has to be talked about. But this is an ancient thing. Get Barack, where is it? Blessed be the womb. She said, blessed be the paps of the mother that gave birth to you. It's in it's in Mark, I believe. You know what I'm talking about, right, Barack? You get Sirach, what's that, 9? Let me see. So like certain precepts coming up to me in the spirit. I ain't even write down. Sirach 19 and 2. You got it, Barack? Just do it with your outside voice. That's all.
This is Luke chapter 11 and verse 27. And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice.
So a woman was like, you the son of God? Oh, yeah? Read.
A certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, blessed is the womb.
She said, blessed is the womb. Yeah?
Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked.
She said, blessed be the womb that bare you, and the paps that thou hast sucked, the breast that thou hast sucked. She was taking the glory from Christ and trying to give it on to the mother. You understand? This is something ancient that is plaguing the earth now, but higher, in a higher rate than ever before. Sirach 19 and 2.
This is Sirach, chapter 19, verse 2.
Go ahead.
Wine and woman will make men of understanding.
Hold on. What? Read it slower.
Wine.
Wine. What is wine? You think that's just liquor? Jeremiah 51 and 7. Let me show you what wine is. 51 and 7, Bible Bashar.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
Babylon hath been a golden cup.
Babylon was a golden cup. Go ahead. In the Lord's hands. Go ahead.
That made all the earth drunken.
That made all the earth drunken. With what? With philosophy. With doctrine. Read it again. Sirach 19 and 2.
This is Sirach, chapter 19, verse 2.
Go ahead.
Wine.
Go ahead.
And woman.
Go ahead.
Will make men of understanding to fall away.
Will make men with no knowledge.
Will make men of understanding.
No, make men that don't know nothing.
Will make men of understanding.
Make men with understanding. Go ahead.
To fall away.
To fall away. You understand? Do you understand that? This is something that is plaguing the Israelite community. Do y'all understand this? 1 Corinthians chapter 5.
1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among
Read it again.
It is reported commonly.
Commonly. It is reported commonly. Commonly. This ain't some rare shit like, oh, no. That happened? He said, yo. My nigga Paul said, It is reported commonly. You understand? Commonly. Read.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you.
That there is what?
That there is fornication among you.
That there is fornication among you. That there is uncleanly sexual acts being committed among you. And you think fornication is just, that encamps bestiality. That encamps homosexuality as well. Do you understand that? Why do you think the Lord made laws against it? Because niggas was doing it. That's why. Yeah, exactly. Niggas wasn't doing it, but they were doing it. Wickedness, man. Read it again from the top.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you.
It's reported commonly. Commonly. I'm going to keep repeating that. It's reported commonly that there is fornication among you. Read.
And such fornication as is not so. Wow.
Read it again from the top. You good, King. Outside voice.
And such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles.
Hold on. Slow down. Read it again.
And such fornication.
And such fornication. He said, y'all niggas is doing certain shit. Go ahead.
As is not so much as named among the Gentiles.
He says, and it's, this shit is not as much named amongst the Gentiles. Hold on. He said, y'all niggas is doing certain shit that even the nations, the other nations that are not Israelites, wouldn't even do. This is what the nation of Israel was doing. Do you understand that? Ain't no what the fuck. It's still going on. People are still doing this today. You understand? What was that precept?
From Hazaram. Yeah, First Corinthians.
Hazaram always coming with a precept. Hazaram always coming with a precept, man. Go ahead,
It's 1 Corinthians 7 and 1 and 2. Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
See that? Beautiful precept, Beautiful precept. Let's go back to Corinthians 1.
Verse 2. And ye are puffed up and have not.
No. Finish verse 1. Salaki, you didn't even finish it. My bad. Read the whole thing all over.
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you. And such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles.
Go ahead.
That one should have his father's wife.
He gave an example. He said, like one that should have his father's wife. You understand? Yeah. Keep reading.
Verse 2. And ye are puffed up.
He said, and you puffed up. You think because you got all this knowledge, all these precepts, that you're going to get away with it. Read.
And have not rather mourned, that he that have done this deed might be taken away from among you.
And he said, you ain't even mourning that nigga that's doing this among you can get taken out. You understand that? That Babylonian garment that is hidden underneath your tent, your ass could get wiped out, but you're puffed up. Keep reading.
For I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit.
He said, listen, just because I ain't dead, Paul's like, yo, just because I ain't dead, don't mean I don't know that you're going through something and you have a secret sin. This even goes to the brothers on the Zoom. Just because we haven't met a lot of brothers in the flesh, the spirit reveals things that you can't even explain. You understand? There's sometimes I hit a brother up, Shamak. I'm like, yo, Shalom, Mak. How you doing? I'm good. I'll be like, okay, Khan. So, yeah, all praises. I just had you on my mind. Because you can't force people. You understand? You can't force people to just be like, I'm dealing with A, B, and C. You just got to let them, yo, listen, man, I'm dealing with this. I need help with this. I need counsel for this. You understand? It's the only way we're going to be able to clean up ourselves and for the brotherhood to become even greater. Don? Yeah. Keep reading.
For I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged already.
He said, I judged already. He said, listen, I already know what's going on. I've already judged in the spirit what you dealing with. You just too puffed up to admit it. Go ahead.
Have judged already as though I were present concerning him that have so done this deed.
He said, concerning him that's done this deed. Read.
In the name of our Lord, YHWH, when ye are gathered together in my spirit with the power of our...
Y'all listening? All right, we try to read a little louder. Yeah, because we got brothers on the Zoom, bro. We got to remember that.
In the name of our Lord, YHWH, when ye are gathered together in my spirit with the power of YHWH, to deliver such...
Listen carefully. Because sometimes this is what you have to do. You understand? This is what you have to do. Read verse 5.
To deliver such and one unto Satan.
To deliver such one unto Satan. What does that mean?
To let fall to that side in order to understand.
Correct. Correct. Read it again. You have something to say about it?
I was going to say it's kind of like dusting your feet. Dusting your feet.
I wouldn't say it's dust in your feet. Read it. Watch. It's gonna give the explanation. Yeah.
To deliver such and one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh.
You let a nigga learn his lesson. Yo, don't touch that. I do it to my son. My son, right? A couple days ago, right here in my house. My son being my son, I let him do what he do, run around, throw shit. He's a boy. You gotta let a boy get his testosterone, pumping. So I let him do what he does. Fight him, whatever. So he was playing with like a Panera card I got. I ain't never activated. I got anyway. He's playing with a Panera. Yo, Panera fire. He's playing with a Panera card I got, right? By the heater. So I said, yo. And he looked at me and I'm looking at him. I said, that's gonna burn you, bro. He stopped for a second and keep going. I kept warning him, moving him away. He kept doing it. I said, you know what? All right. Ow. I said, I told you, bro. I told you. This is what this is saying. Sometimes you got let a nigga. That's why it says to deliver such and one unto Satan for the destruction of his flesh. You got to let a nigga go into his own lust so he can learn his lesson. That's what this is saying. And there's times, if you don't listen to counsel, if you don't seek counsel, this is going to happen to you. Because it's happened to me. You understand? I went to counsel and was like, I'm going to do better. And got my ass whooped because I didn't listen. You know niggas be humble. And your ass gets whooped. You understand? And then after you learn your lesson, you want to know what keeps happening? Your ass keeps getting whooped despite you're doing good. This is what happens. You understand? Finish up the verse.
That the spirit may be
You see that?
May be saved in the day of YHWH.
That your spirit might be saved. So sometimes you gotta let a nigga fall into his own lust so he can learn his lesson so that he might be saved in the end. You understand that? Keep reading.
Verse 6. Your glory is not good.
Nigga, your glorying ain't good. The Lord don't give a damn about a meat tree, bro. He don't care about your fly-ass garment. He don't care about none of that. And I'm not telling you not to wear a meat tree and not to wear a garment, because everybody knows I probably got the most garments in the camp. Outside of Gawar. Gawar beating me. Slack it. But besides Gawar, I got a lot of garments. Y'all know that. Y'all be damn, you make up. I like, to be fringed up. But I know that my fringe ain't gonna save me if I'm a wicked nigga. You understand? You're just gonna be a Pharisee. The Pharisees probably had, listen, niggas, they said enlarging their garments. Niggas have fringes probably on their underwears. You understand? Fire too. On some gangster shit. You understand? Keep reading.
Know ye not that a little leaven.
He said, "Know ye not that a little leaven." Go ahead.
Leaveneth the whole lump.
He said that shit leavens the whole lump, my man. That little baby sin is gonna turn you into a worker of iniquity. Because you want to know what you're gonna keep saying? That's how I know Israelites are religious. Niggas be like, I'm not religious, I'm an Israelite. Niggas are religious. You wanna know why? Niggas be like, I got grace though. But I got grace. The Lord died for me. You're crucifying the Lord afresh. That's what you're doing. And you're going to get punished for it in that day to come. You think I ain't gonna get punished? Every day the Lord knows that I'm like, I'm sorry. Just don't take your spirit from me. Why do you think David said that? We're talking about David. David? David. What did he say? Lord, I know I fucked up. Don't take your spirit from me. You understand? And that's what every brother and sister should say. Because you ain't guaranteed in this shit, man. The Lord could use you and have you in this truth for 20 years just to raise up those men and take your ass out. You understand? This has happened throughout the aisles of time. Okay? Because the deceiver and the deceived are his. Remember that. You're not in control, my man. You're not in control. He could easily take my ass out tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm gone. Selling drugs and getting high again in the streets. Lost out my mind. Because the Lord just wanted me to pull other brothers in and other sisters in. And Yawasap is gone. You understand that? That's how you should move in this walk. No day, nothing is promised to your ass, man. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 7. Purge out, therefore, the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump.
That ye may be a new lump. Go ahead.
As ye are unleavened.
Okay. As ye are unleavened. Go ahead.
For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
For even Christ was sacrificed for us, man. He's our Passover lamb. Why do you think we have Passover? Of course we have Passover in commemoration of the Lord delivering us from Egypt. But what's the most important was that final sacrificial lamb, Hamashiach YHWH, that gave us a chance to come back into his covenant and his promises, despite our wicked asses. You understand? The Lord said your righteousness is as what? Filthy rags. So stop acting like you're somebody. You understand? Keep reading. Last verse.
Verse 8. Therefore, let us keep the feast.
This is real quick. This is a quick precept to all them niggas that you don't gotta keep the feast days. Read that again.
Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Cut. Read.
Not with old leaven.
Not with old leaven. Go ahead.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness. Go ahead.
but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Of sincerity and truth. You understand? Because the day is approaching. Okay? Now, we're going to watch some videos of something that is adding to the plague. Okay? And this shit is destroying not just the Israelite community, this is destroying households. All right? We're going to go with the first one. Get that out.
Pause this.
Nah, that's not the first one. That's not the first one I sent you. Oh. This takes so. There you go. That's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, that is it. I don't know why I went to the next.
You good, King. Hold on. Before it plays, press pause. Start it from the top. Put the volume all the way up, and then show the brothers on the Zoom this. It's
I
easier.
sent it to AHLAHAYANAWA too.
Huh? All right, but still, just shine it on here just in case. Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Volume up. Volume up. So I don't know if I gotta go up there too and turn that volume up.
You might have to. If anything, the
You see how
it's right here.
that's good?
Wikipedia defines pornography as the
Nah, a little more,
subject matter for sexual arousal. It's under the books, magazines, postcards, and
Pause it. Yeah, it's too low.
Well, we've never.
Turn that bitch up.
You can just
All the
hold,
way,
you can hold that.
Put that shit on 100 right here.
I think it beeps when it goes to the end.
Put that shit on 100 right here. Yeah, turn that shit back on.
Run it back.
All right, we about to. This video is titled. If anybody wants to see this again on their own time, it's titled "How Was Porn Born?" All right, because let me tell you something. Pornography plagues people's lives. Okay, a lot of people think of addiction and they think of drugs. They think of alcohol. More people are addicted to porn on earth than drugs. Do you understand that? And that shit destroys people. It destroys relationships. You're going to get erectile dysfunction because that's what it brings. Okay? So we're going to go through a series of videos and give you a certain understanding. Are you eating cheese? Only Barack. Only Barack. Yo, show the Zoom Barack childness real fast. Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm playing. Don't do it. I'm playing. Don't do it. Go ahead. Play that video. Hey, man, you got to forgive brother.
Wikipedia defines pornography as the portrayal of sexual subject matter for sexual arousal. It's in magazines, postcards, and other media. And while we've never heard of anyone who likes to jack off the postcards, we respect all this.
Turn it up now. Postcards. You said jack off the postcards. 1, 2, 3. Niggas don't get off right.
Porn is everywhere these days, and no one can deny the effect that it's had on modern society. But porn isn't new, and humans have been obsessed with sex ever since the dawn of time.
Pause.
The first known porn.
Porn is not new. Do you understand that? No problem. I'm gonna explain this. Porn is not new. You think niggas wasn't watching porn back in the day?
Yeah, bro.
Do you understand that? We're gonna get into this. This is something ancient. The ancient world worshipped sex. They worshipped phalluses. They worshipped vaginas. Why do you think she said, "Blessed is the womb and the patch that you suck"? You understand? Exactly, Diana. That was a sex cult. Do you understand that? These were sex cults. Yeah, absolutely. But we ain't talking about Islam. We talking about Israel. You understand? We could talk about all the nations all day, every day. Today, we're talking about Israel and our wicked asses and Pinky from back in the days. What you mean I'm wilding? I'm letting everybody know. That's how you know, nigga. You see? Yes, I'm name dropping. Every nigga my age knows what I'm talking about. Press play.
Lying ass.
Pornographic artifact is Venus of Willow, a
it.
small 4-inch statue of a slightly chubby woman with big tits. While they were freezing their asses off during the last ice age, these primitive humans still felt the need to jack off to a tiny naked woman.
Did you hear what they found in ancient times? A statue with boobs and a vagina that men stood around and ejaculated on it. Do you hear what I'm saying? And you might be like, yo, niggas did that in ancient times. Niggas have blow dolls, Ak. They have robots. They have, excuse my language for the sisters and the brothers in the flesh and in the Zoom. They got pocket pussies. Do you understand what I'm talking about? They have. What do you mean your boy had one of that? You're saying things that should not be said by y'all. Don't ever dap them up again. This is what I'm talking about. This is the shit that y'all laughing. This shit is serious. This is something that's plaguing the community. Do you understand that? There's Israelites right now at camp with fringes on and a pocket pussy in their book bag. There's Israelites right now that just went home from doing a camp and is watching pornography. Right now, with a fringe on. Nigga ain't even taken his meat tree off yet. And the nigga's watching pornography. Right now. They ain't even wash his hands talking about YHWH shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Press play.
That tells you a lot about mankind. The ancient Romans and Greeks brought us marvelous contributions to physics, mathematics, philosophy, and pornography. They enjoyed to sculpt and paint sick and twisted representations of all kinds of sex. Oral sex scenes, male group gropings, open house orgies, anything you can think of.
Press stop.
They also have the Potter illustrate.
In the book of Maccabees, it said they gave us license to do after the heathen. What do you think that was? And they built a place of exercise with niggas wrestling butt-ass naked. You think it was just them? We wanted to do this. That's what the book of Maccabees in chapter 1 is talking about. They weren't forced in Maccabees chapter 1. They said, yo, when we fuck with them, we good. So let's do this. Let's do these things. Let's be wicked. You understand? Press play.
Of a man balancing the base on his erect penis for some fucking reason. The volcano eruption in Pompeii in 79 AD revealed the Romans' deepest secrets. When archaeologists uncovered the petrified city, they found an interesting God versus goat sex scene. With many penis sculptures.
The Lord couldn't do enough to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. The nigga destroyed Pompeii as a signet and a sign. And they dug this shit up. And you want to know the crazy thing? You're talking about white. Pompeii was filled with Israelites. There was niggas in Pompeii. You understand? I can show you artifacts upon artifacts of niggas holding their rod in front of animals. Of two niggas holding each other's rods. Of two females feeling on each other in Pompeii. And guess what color they are? Nigga said, "Gray, you going off?" They were black. I'm talking about paintings. You understand? And the Lord buried this city to be discovered, to be a sign for us right now. And niggas are still falling into this shit. Press play.
In parallel, the Indians were way more intellectual.
These damn Elamites.
They preferred to write books. So Vatsyayana wrote a book in the 3rd century on how to live a happy life full of love and happiness with family. He called it Eat, Pray, Love. We're kidding. He wrote a book called Kama Sutra about some awesome sex positions he wanted you to try out, as well as some tips and tricks on how to get laid and how to be hot in general. Your parents probably have it somewhere around the house. The Europeans continued this tradition of writing books when they finally had the printing press in 1440. The books would get you horny, all while telling you a beautiful story. And in the time of rush modern porn and shitty acting, we all know the importance of a good plot. In 1846, people got bored of reading and writing and used early types of photography called daguerreotypes and started showing naked people fucking ever since. In 1896, French perverts created one of the first erotic silent sex movies, The Coucher de la Mariée. And during that same year, Thomas Edison directed the first commercial movie that showed a kiss on the big screen. This developed into more hardcore movies called stag films, which were screened in brothels, male sleepovers, and gym locker rooms. Professor Joseph Slade says they look like your grandparents having sex. Because no one wanted to see that, young entrepreneur Hugh Hefner had the crazy idea of founding a magazine dedicated to showing hot models that suspiciously look a lot like your buddy's hot sister. Playboy magazine was born. However, things weren't going great for porn in the US. The Supreme Court ruled that pornography was obscene material with no social importance and was subject to censorship. However, Italian badass and porn crusader Lars Braun didn't give a shit. He was sued many times for filming silent sex movies, but was later induced into the AVN Hall of Fame. His company produced the first hardcore movies in color, and his business partner even had him install public porn booths in the US and Canada. Denmark was the first European country to legalize porn in 1969. Shortly afterward, Braun ushered the golden age of porn in the 70s, when the US Supreme Court had reconsidered its stance on porn bans. Ron Jeremy and Nina Hartley are two of the most famous names in porn, and they made it into regular households through VHS tapes. From there on, video pornography boomed, especially with the internet. Higher quality clips are constantly being released on ever smaller devices, from amateur videos to expensive productions. Today, there are many websites dedicated to porn, from fetish material to interactive games. With the development of the new VR porn, teenagers these days might get so caught up in tapping the screens that they forget that there are actually women out there with real organs waiting for wonderful lovemaking sessions. Hey guys, if you like our videos and you...
So you see the history of it, right? And you see it's ancient. Okay? Make sure we go to the next video. I want to make sure the Pompeii, the Pompeii one. Yeah, that's it right there. Enlarging it first. Pause. This class, you got something. Might have to turn up the volume on the YouTube itself.
Siamo nel museo archeologico nazionale di Napoli e questa è la sala 65, detto gabinetto segreto. Il termine segreto è un termine più eccessivo, in effetti. Il termine originale con cui dei Borboni disegnavano...
Press pause. What the fuck? What the heck? This is the ancient world, Ak. Phallus worship. Do you understand? This is going to make certain scriptures come to life when I read certain scriptures, because this is what was going on. When he said, and such fornication as is not much so named among the Gentiles. This is what we were doing. Do you understand that? Why the fuck does a penis have wings on it? What the fuck is going on, Ak? Press play, man.
Riservati, fissa il titolo generico, permesso speciale, generalmente a pubblico di sesso maschile, adulto, e che avesse anche buona
Look at that.
perché invece
That's the Mercury god, all right?
Era le donne. Poi all'udente ai termini erotici, quindi non era una specificità esclusiva del napoletano, con anche in altri musei, proprio perché il tema dell'Eros è un tema di raffigurazione della cultura antica. L'eccezionalità del museo napoletano è che abbiamo le pitture conservate proprio per la straordinarietà delle versioni vesuvana che ha sepolto le città.
See that? All praises. The Lord made a volcano blow up on them niggas. Lord is powerful. Look at that nigga frozen in time. Look at the picture. Stop that. They have pictures of pornography. The way the city used to work was they were alleyways that they would be literal pictures on this is what's going on in this chamber. This is what's going on in this chamber. And men and women will walk into those chambers and watch these people have sex live. Whether it was bestiality, homosexuality, whether it was regular. This is what they were doing in ancient times. You understand? They were doing all of this before there was a TV. Okay? This is an ancient thing. That's what I'm trying to help you to understand. This pornography shit ain't new. This sexual deviancy in Israel is not new. This is ancient. The only thing is the white man has mastered this witchcraft. He has mastered all of this witchcraft on the earth to the point he is plaguing the world with this shit. He's plaguing the earth with this, man. You understand? Press play.
Allora, i visitatori usavano dei diretti, diciamo così, per commerciare l'accesso alle cabine segrete, quindi sostanzialmente pagavano il personale del museo.
Stop. Why? Go ahead, Al.
Questi simboli taurici che comparivano nelle strade di Pompei come insegne di botteghe o di franchigia oltre il Marocco.
Look, press stop. Why are they making a statue out of this? This was all throughout the cities of Rome and Greece, Ak. That's what you have to understand. And guess where else? Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia. This is ancient. And guess who adopted it? Israel. And who takes everything to the next level? Israel. Go ahead. I don't know why they got that music like that. Like, this is cool. This is like,
Mitologici sono alle agli amori di caso, per lo più Venere e Marte, oppure del corteo di Dioniso, quindi Satiri, Campania e Ninfe.
You see the satyr, pause that. Satyrs, hermaphrodites, nymphos, right? Bacchus in the book of Maccabees. The satyrs in the book of Isaiah. This is what this is talking about, huh? Those secret groves, right? You think they were just cutting chicken heads off? And no, they were having orgies, Ak. Why do you think, what is that shit called in California? Bohemian Grove, that only men can go to. What do you think they're doing, Ak? They have video of men dressing in dresses in Bohemian Grove, pictures. And worshiping Moloch. Dressing in dresses, having orgies. This is what they're doing. Men of power come from all over the earth, right there in California and Bohemian Grove. You don't think the occult knows about this? This is what they do. The secret occult, what you call the Illuminati and the Rothschilds and the Skull and Bones and the Boulets. This is what they do.
Blowing each other's back up.
Yeah, pause. You gotta say pause after that. Pause. You understand? But this is what's going on the earth. And the only way to keep the earth in subjection is what? To keep the children of Israel under sin. That's the only way. So what's one of the biggest ways? Sexuality, sexual deviancy, pornography. And that secret sin is going to affect the body that you're in. You understand? Press play.
Differenti tipi di benefici a seconda del luogo dove svolgevano la loro attività. Quindi potevano svolgere le loro pratiche banali, che erano dei propri bordelli, e con te esiste un istituto delle terme, il bagno a posto di Porta Marina, e tutto decorato con 24 balletti che rappresentano i giochi amorosi, che potevano essere offerti, diciamo così, ai avventori delle terre.
Y'all get the picture, right? Yeah. I'm forcing it. I gotta understand this. You can stop. Thank you. Go to the next video. You see what was going on in Pompeii, right? You see that, right? Okay. Now let's see how this is affecting you. Yeah, I see it. Now let's see how this is affecting your brain.
Get through these advertisements.
Part 4. Where it says part 4?
Discovered the 8 immortal kings of Samaria lived a total of...
That's that fucking ancient alien ass niggas. Fucking hate them niggas. Press stop, press stop.
This right here is
press stop. Wait back from the beginning. Take a little pause.
Here's the normal pattern of dopamine release. It looks something like a roller coaster because in biology, what goes up must come down. It could be food, sex, or even water when you're thirsty. So let's say you're hungry. Dopamine starts rising. Then you think about a burger, and it rises more. When the burger is sizzling, dopamine's going way up. It peaks right about your first bite. Then you take some more bites, and it starts to drop off. And finally drops back down to normal levels, and you're full. This graph could also represent masturbating or having sex, and the peak would be right about an orgasm. However, I really want to point out that the experience of orgasm is probably driven by other neurochemicals called opiate, not dopamine. So dopamine drives you towards orgasm, but the feeling of orgasm arises from something else. The rise of dopamine levels could also represent anything new or novel, because dopamine loves novelty. A new car, a just-released movie, the latest gadget. We're all hooked on dopamine. You can have a spike of dopamine just by ordering dessert. Even though you haven't finished what's on your plate, dessert is something new. In fact, dopamine surging in your reward circuitry can override your feelings of what's called satiety or fullness, regardless of what your rational brain may think about overeating or even watching porn. As with everything new, the thrill fades and dopamine levels drop. Now, back to the Coolidge effect. So, dopamine is what is behind the Coolidge effect. If you look at our little graph here, we have a female rat number 1, female rat number 2, and dopamine level. What's happening is that the reward circuitry of the male is squirting less and less dopamine in each copulation with female number 1. And then eventually, the male can no longer copulate because there's not enough dopamine. Dopamine is behind libido. Then you drop in female number 2, and the male gets another squirt of dopamine that surges his libido, and he goes back to work. This is what's behind the Coolidge effect, and it's also why you click onto new videos while you're watching porn, to get another big squirt of dopamine with something novel. Okay, let's give another nickname to dopamine. Let's call it the molecule of addiction. It's because changes in your brain that lead to addiction caused by changes in dopamine level. Cocaine, alcohol, nicotine. They all feel different, but all of them flood the reward circuitry with dopamine. All addictive chemicals and activities raise dopamine levels. It's what makes them potentially addictive. Of course, you need continued use of the addictive substance or activity to cause physical changes that lead to addiction. Here's an odd thing. We've mentioned it before. Dopamine is released in response to expectations rather than actual levels of pleasure. It's the drive to get it. It's the craving. But as I've mentioned, the actual pleasure of eating or orgasm is probably opioids. Those are morphine-like chemicals being released in the brain. Dopamine is wanting it. Opiates are liking it. Addictions are basically chasing after dopamine. So what happens is addiction is wanting more, but liking it less. Speaking of wanting and the power of the reward circuitry, here's an experiment. We have a rat, and you see there's a wire, and then there's this electrode that's actually going to the reward circuitry of the rat. And the rat has its little paw on a lever, and whenever it hits that lever, it sends just enough electricity to the reward circuitry to stimulate it. Now, what will happen is this rat will just keep hitting the lever and hitting the lever thousands of times an hour until it drops. It won't stop to eat, sleep, have sex, or even take care of the pups. It'll give up everything just to press that lever. As we know, this behavior is not unlike some serious drug addicts. Here's another experiment. They take the same rat and they have an electric grip between the lever and the rat. So the rat has to feel painful shock in its little paws to go over to the lever and press it. Well, the rat will actually cross the bridge and endure the shock. But if you take a rat and put an electric grid between them and food, they will not cross the electric grid. They will not undergo shocks to eat food. They would rather starve. Here's more experiment to show the power of dopamine in your reward circuitry. If you take rats and block their dopamine, they have absolutely no motivation. They'll not even eat. They won't walk over to the food dish and they'll starve to death. But they still like food. If you drop food into their mouths, they eat it and show little rat smiles. They just have no motivation to go get it. They lie around. They won't have sex either. The male rats show no signs of libido. The key point is, you need the right level of dopamine to function normally. It does lots of important jobs. Dopamine gives you that positive outlook, good attitude, keeps you motivated, keeps you happy. Incidentally, many psychological problems involve dopamine imbalances, including addictions. Donate and help us make medical education universal, free, state-of-the-art.
Why do you think the scripture says it's better for you to have a wife than to burn? Why do you think the scripture also says is a man and a husband and a wife better than undefiled? Because the more and more you dive into your sexual dildos, okay, and pocket vaginas, you're gonna burn. That's what all of this is talking about. And this affects your brain and eventually affects your libido. And you know what else gets affected? Your endocrine system. Then from the endocrine system, your entire body begins to collapse. This is what happens. You understand? This makes you sick. Get the next one. The next one is
the science.
Yeah, science.
Start.
From person to person. But with the current pornography epidemic, as some call it, one has to wonder how exactly this may affect our desires and perception of sexuality. Moreover, how does it affect our sex lives? Pornography constitutes about 25% of all search engine requests and is the fourth most common reason people give for going on the internet. And while it may seem
1 out of every 4 times somebody goes on the internet, they're looking at porn. How many people in this room? How many? 1, 2,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
How many people are on the Zoom?
32. 32.
Let's just say 50 people. Let's just be nice. Let's say 40 people. Right? Just to make the math easy. Out of 40 people, 10 people watch porn. every time they go on their phone. You understand that? And this is the earth. This is the earth. Okay?
And you could even bring it, if I may add.
Good, of course.
You could even bring it to the point where porn is, going on social media and looking up, bad things in bikinis, or looking up a female's workout video that has a thump, just so you can see her, you know what I'm saying, in some spandex. That's a form of pornography, because why are you even looking at females working out? What are you learning from that?
Right.
Come on, man.
You understand?
You know what I'm saying? It even gets down to that level.
That could trigger,
Right.
Huh?
And I don't know if you're gonna go into it, but
yeah, that's all.
I don't know if you're gonna go into this, but
yeah,
within the mind itself, when you're cutting off dopamine, it cuts off a lot of a man's skills and desires and wants to conquer.
That's exactly what the rat experiment is showing.
The Lord made man to go out and have dominion and to conquer the earth. You're supposed to desire to want to be king. You're supposed to want to desire to go out and do stuff and provide and be a protector. When you cut dopamine off, you just sit there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can share this real quick. Growing up, everybody, like you said, delve and watch porn, but I'm the type of person that eventually I want to feel something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what do you do? What does dopamine do? You go out and buy clothes. You go out and get cologne. You make sure you feel good. You look good. You know what I'm saying? You might be working out, or you might be playing sports or in martial arts or something. But what's that goal for? It's to be social with another woman. It's to go out and eventually get her number, date her. When you're in the world.
And the more, listen,
go ahead.
If you're addicted to pornography,
you're not going to have that desire.
The Lord's not going to bless you with a woman.
That's a fact.
I'm prophesying to y'all niggas this right now. Whoever's looking for a woman, the Lord's not going to bless you with a woman that you can't even control playing with yourself.
Pamela's not doing it. Please.
Pamela is going to be your woman for the rest of your damn life. You understand me?
Or Ashley.
Or a wicked
woman.
A wicked woman's given to a wicked woman.
Oh, they ain't going to get a wicked woman. It's going to be Pamela. That's going to be your wicked woman, your damn self. And for the men that have a wife, you're going to get erectile dysfunction at a young age. And you're going to come crying to Yawasap for black macaroon. Okay? That's what you're going to do. Yawasap, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? Do you understand that?
No.
Do you understand that? That's what's going to happen. Look at Abadia. Abadia old head ass like black macaroon. This is serious. This is serious.
It literally takes the desire away for you to feel a woman, make love to a woman, be around a woman in a positive light. And
then you don't even know how to talk to a woman.
Yeah, joke with her, get her laughing. You know what I'm saying? Lead her.
Then you're looking at these females that have butt injections, breast injections, and you think that's reality.
Fake.
You think that's reality. That shit ain't real, man. It's not real. Word is born. Press play.
To simply facilitate an instinctual sexual response linked to millions of years of evolution, the truth is, pornography has dynamically changed over time, ultimately molding our tastes and desires. The not-so-shocking truth is that pornography has profound consequences for the brain and acts in many ways like a drug. With prolonged exposure, your tolerance is increased, and many often find themselves addicted. Though it's not a physical substance, it leads to the same general loss of control, the compulsiveness to seek out the activity despite negative consequences, and withdraw when it goes away. Much like that of gambling or running, for example.
Press stop.
The issue?
Niggas get withdrawal from porn. You're sitting in class thinking about pornography. You understand? That shit is real. Fuck it being different. This is plaguing Israelites. Because I ain't worried about everybody else. Nah. You understand that? Press play.
Is that continued exposure can cause long-term or even lifelong neuroplastic change in the brain. Dopamine is released as a reward whenever we accomplish something, whether it be eating to sustain life or sexual activity to produce future life. And this dopamine consolidates neural connections in order to drive us to perform the same activity in the future. In other words, it alters and forms the brain cells to motivate certain actions. It rewires your brain. The National Institutes of Health measure drug addictiveness by testing rats. The rat is trained to press a button in order to get a drug, and the harder it works indicates how addictive the substance is. It turns out that the more addictive a drug is, the more dopamine we see released. And while there is unfortunately no rat porn that we can get to them, we do know that dopamine is also released during sexual excitement, which pornography plays right into. The more time you spend doing it, the more dopamine gets released, which reinforces the behavior and makes you not only...
So y'all get the point, right? I just used these two videos right here to help you understand what it does to the brain and how it's going to affect you long term. You understand?
Okay.
It's going to leave black matter in your brain. That's what it's going to do. You understand?
Okay.
Who here wants erectile dysfunction? Nobody, no man wants to be. It's like dying. No man wants to be not able to do what they have to do. You understand? Next video.
You
got to turn the volume up.
Yeah, I'm just getting this ready. You know what I'm saying? Go.
Inspired by the last talker, I'm going to have a little song about internet porn. No, just kidding. The widespread use of internet porn is one of the fastest moving, most global experiments ever unconsciously conducted. Nearly every young guy with an internet access becomes an eager test subject. Canadian researcher Simon Lajeunesse found that most boys seek pornography by age 10, driven by a
by age 10.
balls didn't even drop yet.
This what year is that?
This video?
Yeah. Check out the year real quick. 2012. 2012. You understand? This is what's happening. This is what's going on. And they literally said, yeah, we experimented. Why the fuck would the white man want to experiment with pornography? He knows what he's doing. This nigga knows what he's doing, man. Go ahead.
Brain that is suddenly fascinated by sex. Now, users perceive internet porn as far more compelling than porn of the past. Why is that? Unending novelty. In this Australian experiment, it's not mere nudity, but novelty that gets arousal skyrocketing. Subjects watch 22 porn displays. See that spike? That's where the researchers switched to porn the guys hadn't seen before. What happened? Their erections and their brains fired up. Why all the excitement? Mother Nature likes to keep a male fertilizing willing females as long as any new ones are around. In that top line, the ram, he needs more and more time to mate with the same old ewe. But if you keep switching females, the bottom line, well, it's just not the same. He can get the job done in 2 minutes flat and keep going until he is utterly exhausted. This is known as the Coolidge effect. Without the Coolidge effect, there would be no internet porn. This old mammalian program, the Coolidge effect, perceives each novel female on a guy's screen as a genetic opportunity. To keep a guy fertilizing the screen, his brain releases the go-get-it neurochemical dopamine for each novel mate or image. Eventually, the ram will tire, but as long as the guy can keep clicking, he can keep going, and so will his dopamine. With internet porn, a guy can see more hot babes in 10 minutes than his ancestors could see in several lifetimes. The problem is he has a hunter-gatherer brain. A heavy user's brain rewires itself to this genetic bonanza, so his brain becomes associated with this porn harem. Such behaviors that are associated with this are being alone, voyeurism, clicking, searching, multiple tabs, fast forwarding, constant novelty, shock, and surprise. As one young guy once asked, are we the first generation to masturbate left-handed? Now, real sex, in contrast, is courtship, touching, being touched, smells, pheromones, emotional connection, interaction with a real person. Now, what happens when our guy finally gets with a real mate? Well, researchers don't know much about the effects of internet porn for several reasons. In 2009, when Longinus tried to study porn's impact, he couldn't find any college-age males who weren't using it. So the first series...
Niggas said, yo, let's see how porn affects people. But they can't find anybody who doesn't watch it. So how the hell can they see the difference? What you mean, imagine that? So imagine how. Oh. Press play, man.
This dilemma is that studies have no control groups. Now, this creates a huge blind spot. Imagine if all guys started smoking at age 10 and there were no groups that didn't. We would think that lung cancer is normal for all guys. Undaunted by his lack of non-users, Longinus asked 20 male students, is internet porn affecting you or your attitudes towards women? Their answer, nah, I don't think so. But they've been using it for about a decade then, pretty much nonstop. This is like asking a fish what it thinks about water. Which brings us to a second problem. Now, researchers haven't asked porn users about the symptoms Zimbardo described in The Demise of Guy. Arousal addiction symptoms are easily mistaken for such things as ADHD, social anxiety, depression, concentration problems, performance anxiety, OCD, and a host of others.
Hold on. So you telling me this shit gives nigga ADHD, social anxiety, depression, performance anxiety. You wanna know why? Because he thinks he has to be a fucking porn star. And then OCD. Needs certain things this way. You know what I'm saying? This is what this does to the brain. Because it rewires your brain. Good.
Now, healthcare providers often assume that these conditions are primary, perhaps the cause of addiction, but never really the result of an addiction. As a consequence, they often medicate these guys without really inquiring about if they have an internet addiction. So guys never realize that they can overcome these symptoms simply by changing their behavior. Now, the third problem is it's hard to believe that sexual activity can cause addiction because sex is healthy. But internet porn is not sex. Internet porn is as different from real sex as today's video games are from checkers. Watching a screen full of naked body parts won't automatically protect one from arousal addiction. In this Dutch study, here's the title, they found that, in fact, of all activities on the internet, porn has the most potential to become addictive. Here's why. This ancient program, the reward circuit, evolved to drive us towards natural rewards, such as sex, bonding, and food. As a consequence, extreme versions of natural rewards have a unique ability to capture us. For example,
The Lord designed something within the human brain to arouse us when we have natural rewards, as what it was just saying, food would accomplish something, actual sex. So think about all the things that Esau has designed to give you a fake sense of arousal, from pornography to them putting certain things within your foods to make you want to continue to go back to that unclean food. And we could go on and on, from drugs to cigarettes. Esau has designed a holographic world around you. You got these potheads talking about, we live in holographic. They kind of right, nigga. We live in a holographic world. We live in a make-believe world. Everybody talks about virtual reality. We're living in virtual reality. Everything around us is fake. Everybody around us is fake. And everybody is living in an illusion. Do you understand that? They listen to everything the news says. They don't believe in the Bible. They listen to everything your history books say. And they go home and jerk off and get high and smoke weed. That's what they do. And they wake up and do it all over again. You understand? Press play.
High-calorie foods or hot, novel baits give us extra dopamine. Too much dopamine, though, can override our natural satiation mechanisms. For example, give rats unlimited access to junk food, and almost all of them will binge to obesity. This is also why 4 out of 5 Americans are overweight, and about half of those are obese. That is, addicted to food. Now, in contrast to natural rewards, drugs such as cocaine or alcohol only hook about 10% of users, whether they are rats or humans. This binge mechanism for food or sex was once an evolutionary advantage. In essence, it is getting it while the getting is good. Now, you can think of wolves packing away 20 pounds of meat per kill, or it's mating season and you're the alpha male. What if mating season never ends? All those hits of dopamine can tell your brain to do 2 things. First, they say, man, you have hit the evolutionary jackpot. Second, they kick in a molecular switch called delta phos-B. I know it's a fancy word, but dopamine kicks in delta phos-B, and that starts to accumulate in the brain's reward circuit. Now, with excess chronic consumption of drugs or natural rewards, this buildup of delta phos-B starts to alter the brain and promotes a cycle of binging and craving. If the binging continues, the delta phos-B builds up, and it can lead to brain changes seen in all addicts. So the dominoes are excess consumption, excess dopamine, delta phos-B, brain changes. One of the first changes is a numb pleasure response. It kicks in, and so everyday pleasures really don't satisfy a porn addict. At the same time, other physical changes in the brain make the brain hyperreactive to porn. Everything else in the porn user's life is sort of boring, but porn is super exciting. Finally, his willpower erodes as his frontal cortex changes. I can't emphasize this enough. All addictions share these same brain changes and the same molecular switch that kicks them in, delta phos-B. Now, scientists have used brain scans to measure these changes in drug addicts. Up here, these scans show a reduced pleasure response in drug addicts. These and several other changes have also been seen in gambling addicts, food addicts, very recently in video game addicts, and now in internet addicts. I apologize for filling up this slide with brain studies. Just notice the dates, but I want you to know that they exist. So far, all brain research points in only one direction. Constant novelty at a click can cause addiction. Now, we know this because when scientists examined former internet addicts, they found that these brain changes were reversing themselves. Unfortunately, none of these studies isolate porn users, but they do include them. Here's the game changer. At last, we have a group of guys who are no longer using internet porn. That's right. Heavy users are voluntarily giving it up by the thousands. These guys are the missing control group in the great porn experiment. They're showing experts what changing one single variable can do. I call it the resurrection of guys, as opposed to the demise of guys. Now, before I continue, you probably want to know why any porn-loving guy in his right mind would give it up. 2 words: erectile dysfunction.
Damn!
Internet porn is killing young men's sexual performance. Now, Zimbardo said young guys are flaming out with women. This survey by Italian neurologists confirms what...
Let me give you an example. If you're used to eating junk food all day, if you're used to McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and all of that constantly, what do your taste buds do when you eat something healthy?
Nasty.
You're like, oh, this shit not even hitting like
Get
that.
them greens out of here.
This shit not even that good. It's the same thing with porn, bro. That's what happens with the brain. All of this nasty, disgusting food that you continue to consume, your brain rewires itself to the point anything that's healthy, get that shit out of here. Excuse me. That's why for anybody that has children, it's good to feed your children things that you don't even like to eat. And I'm talking about things that are healthy, of course. Veggies, all that. My son will eat a carrot. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I eat my carrot with my beans and shit. I need that sauce. But my son will be like, I'll be like, all praises. Powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. I'll be looking at him like, that's good to you? Come on, here. Eat more. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that as a kid. You want to know why? I ate supersized fries as a child. Ketchup. You know what I'm saying?
Honey bun.
I ate honey buns as a child. I ate a bagel with butter. That's what Doritos. French toast with Kool-Aid. We could keep going.
Yeah.
White rice and eggs with ketchup. Stop playing with me. That's hood shit, nigga. Get out of here. You understand? This is what we ate. You going off. You going off. Shaquat going off. Shaquat really from Chicago. That's what it is. Shaquat going off. But all jokes aside, it's the same thing with pornography. It rewires your brain to the point that everything that is normal, you want everything that is synthetic now. And that's what the white man wants. He wants everything that's synthetic. They don't want to work out and get brolic. They want to use steroids. They don't want, that woman don't want to work out to get her butt in shape. She wants to get a butt implant. Right. They don't want to work out to lose that gut. They want to get liposuction. Right. They don't want to take. What the heck? That was perfect time. They don't want to work. They don't want to work out to get you to get. This is the shit, man. It's frustrating to look at the world and see how the world is. It's the same thing with a headache. You pop a pill. Things that go wrong with your body, whether it's a headache, whether it's eczema, whether it's dandruff, whether it's a knee ache, is a sign of something going on internally. You understand? Skin conditions and dandruff has to do with your liver and your kidneys. Detox. A lot of people don't know those things. That's what you have to understand. Your body shows on the outside what's going on the inside. Press play. Not to get too.
We have witnessed over the last few years. Now, sexual enhancement drugs often stop working for these guys if they ever did, because the problem isn't below the belt where Viagra works, nor is the problem really psychological. It's due to physical changes in the brain, those addiction-related changes. Their numb brains are sending weaker and weaker signals to their bananas. As Dr. Foresta says, It starts with lower reactions to porn sites, then there is a general drop in libido, and in the end, it becomes impossible to get an erection. There are three takeaways from this. First, Foresta is describing a classic addiction process, gradual desensitization. Second, internet porn is qualitatively different from Playboy. Widespread youthful ED has never been seen before. And finally, ED is often the only symptom that gets these guys' attention. The question is, what less obvious symptoms are they missing? Most of them figure that out until after they quit. Here's a guy in his late 20s. I've been to psychologists and psychiatrists for the last 8 years and have been diagnosed with depression, severe social anxiety, severe memory impairment, and a few others. I've tried Effexor, Ritalin, Xanax, Paxil, dropped out of 2 different colleges, been fired twice, used pot to calm my social anxiety. I've been approached by quite a few women, I guess due to my looks and status, but they quickly flew away due to my incredible weirdness. I've been a hardcore porn addict since age 14. For the last 2 years, I've been experimenting and finally realized that porn was an issue. I stopped it completely 2 months ago. It has been very difficult, but so far incredibly worth it. I've since quit my remaining medication. My anxiety is non-existent. My memory and focus are sharper than they've ever been. I feel like a huge chick magnet and my ED is gone too. I seriously think I had a rebirth, a second chance at life. This is why pockets of guys are appearing all over the web. Bodybuilding sites, sports sites, pickup artist sites, wherever men congregate. In essence, they are seeking a neurochemical rebirth. Here's a group on Reddit.com who call themselves Fapsternauts. Fapping is slang for solo sex, but what they really mean is giving up porn. They've added about 2,000 members since I captured this picture a month ago. This movement to unhook from porn is growing rapidly. In fact, groups are springing up all across the web and in Europe too. But there is a bizarre fly in the ointment. Guys in their early 20s aren't regaining their erectile health as quickly as older guys. How can a 50-year-old get his mojo back quicker than a 20-something? The answer, even though older guys have been using porn a whole lot longer, they didn't start on today's internet porn. Now, we know this is a key variable because the older guys didn't start having sexual problems until after they got high-speed internet. Now, today's young teens start on high-speed internet when their brains are at their peak of dopamine production and neuroplasticity. This is also when they are most vulnerable to addiction, but there's another risk. By adulthood, teens strengthen heavily used circuits and prune back unused ones. So by age 22 or so, a guy's sexual taste can be like deep ruts in his brain. This can cause panic if a guy has escalated to extreme porn or porn that no longer matches his sexual orientation. Fortunately, brains are plastic, so his taste can revert once he quits porn. As the guy returns to normal sensitivity, his brain looks around for the rewards it evolved to seek, such as friendly interaction and, of course, real mates. Here's one more example of what we hear every day. I feel like the next Sir Isaac Newton or Leonardo da Vinci. Since I quit a month ago, I've literally started a business, taken up piano, been studying French every day, been programming, drawing, writing, started managing my finances, and I have more awesome ideas than I know what to do with. My confidence is sky high. I already feel like I can talk to any girl. I'm the same guy who took 2.5 extra years to graduate from college because of procrastination and depression. I'll conclude with a wish. I'd like to see some Bardos guys who are wiping out and their caregivers and the experts listen to the thousands of men who are teaching us about arousal addiction by escaping it. Thanks for listening.
All right, y'all got a glimpse of that, right? That's just a glimpse. I got 3-hour documentaries I could send y'all on crazy effects and how even child pornography, you can fix that and put it on. Now, child pornography is the #1 thing being shown on the internet. You understand that? Child pornography. What do you think these little girls that go missing in the ghettos and the reservations and on the border, what do you think happens to them? They're being used. They're being human trafficked. This is what's going on the earth. You understand that? Let's get Job 31:1, and we're gonna get Matthew 5:28. Matthew 5:28 first.
Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 28.
Go ahead.
But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her,
Go ahead.
hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
How many of y'all niggas committed adultery with porn? You understand that? You see how this is a sin unto death? When you committed adultery, you died. You understand that? This is a sin unto death. This ain't no regular, I'm going to be all right. The Lord understands. No, he don't. No, he does not. You're going to die for it. You understand? I'm being straight up. And this is if this is a secret sin, you got to put it away before it affects the people around you. Just like that Babylonian garment that was underneath the tent. You understand? If you need counsel, go to somebody you're comfortable with and seek counsel. It's that simple. Whether it's pornography or whether it's anything else, seek counsel because it'll save your damn life. Job 31:1.
This is Job chapter 31, verse 1. I made a covenant with mine eyes.
Read it again.
I made a covenant with mine eyes.
He made a covenant with his eyes. For what?
I made a covenant with mine eyes.
Uh-huh.
Why then should I think upon a maid?
Why then should I think upon a maid? Why then should you think upon pornography? Why then should you think upon all of this wicked lust of the flesh? Make a covenant with yourself and with God, man. You understand that? That's what you have to do. Because if not, you're going to lose the battle. And that spirit's going to come back to that garnished house with 7 more spirits. And you're going to be worse than you were before. Because you didn't put it down when you had the chance. You understand that? And there's only so many chances the Lord's going to give you. Trust me. Let's get Romans 1:25. Shut up. Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 1, verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie?
Who changed the truth of God into a lie? Who? Read.
And worship and serve the creature more than creator.
And worship and serve the creature more than the creator. They served statues. They served phalluses. They served animals. They served constellations. They served everything around them that God created. Let's get real quick. Let's get John 19:13 real quick.
Zoom precept.
All right. Right after this precept, we'll go to the Zoom precept. 19:13.
Book of John, chapter 19, verse 13. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahushua poured and sat down in the judgment in a place that is called the pavement. But in the Hebrew, Gabaryam. And it was the preparation of the Passover. And about the 6th hour, he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king. But they cried out, Away with him.
Listen to this. Go ahead.
Away with him. Crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priest answered, We have no king but Caesar.
We have no what?
We have no king but Caesar.
Who were they worshiping then? Caesar. The Romans and the Greeks. You understand that? They were worshiping their pantheons and their gods while hiding in a fringe in a meat tree, saying, Yahweh. You understand that? Read Romans 1:25 again. And somebody and Shaquat, get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13.
This is Romans chapter 1, verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Who is blessed forever. Amen. Wisdom of Solomon 13.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13 and verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature.
All men are vain by nature. This is why the Lord gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, so we could be a light unto all men. So we can show them the way. But instead, what did we do? Come on, get it right, huh? Instead, what did we do? What did we do? We followed after the way of the heathen. We wanted to follow after them, then follow something that the Heavenly Father gave unto us. Read.
Who are ignorant of God, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is.
And they couldn't realize by the creation that there's a creator. Read.
Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster.
See that? You don't consider that what you breathe out, the tree breathes in. And what the tree breathes out, you breathe in. See how perfect that is? And that's just a simple example. Read.
But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars.
Hey, that's a quick cut. Real quick. You know, I always got to show a quick cut. It's the star Molech. The stars are circles. It's the shield of David. Calm down. All right? It's a whole other lesson. Read.
Or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be with gods which govern the world.
You see that? So they made all of these things their gods, not realizing you're worshiping the creation more than the creator. You're worshiping the creature more than the creator. You understand? Let's keep reading. In Romans. Oh, you had that preset from the Zoom? Real quick. Who was it? Who was it? Hazaram again? Hazaram again. Yeah.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and did eat.
See that? It's a good precept. Something that was pleasant to the eyes. Something that feels good.
And Gabar Malak had...
Gabar Malak was good, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, Romans 18 and 1. I mean,
18 and 1. I'm about to say, you know Romans 18.
I looked at that.
Get it out.
There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus.
It's a deep precept, man. He's gonna have to break that down. He ain't here to break that down. It's a deep precept, man. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you read it though. Go ahead.
Who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus hath made me free from the law of sin and death.
Abadia, what that mean? Read it again.
Verse 2?
Yeah, verse 2.
Verse 2. For the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushua have made me free from the law of sin and death.
What's the law of sin and death? Read it again. It is not the Mosaic law. Don't you ever say that. Like, read it again. That's all.
Oh, I mean,
that's a Christian mind state. Read it again. Going on.
For the law of the Spirit of life.
For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made me free from the law of sin and death. What does that mean? Multiple times. What's the law of sin? No. The law of sin is sacrifice. You understand? Because Christ was our sacrifice that we can go to again. Because when we sinned, we gave a sacrifice for our offering. So Christ was that final sacrifice unto us. What is the law of death? What does that mean, going against the laws? No. The law of death is when you died for breaking the law. You understand? That's what you got to understand. Yeah, hold those I already know that. I already know Hazaram going to be cut. I know Abayat probably in there. They probably in there deep, man. Right? Tazalia in there. You see that? Hold it real quick. I got y'all, man. Hold it real quick. I got you. Real quick. Get Colossians 2 and 14.
That's what he had. That's what he...
You going off, man. Don't get my precepts, man. Stop reading my precept packet, man. Nah, I'm playing with you. Colossians 2 and 14. Tazalia going off, man. You getting suspended. Colossians 2 and 14 to give you more understanding. I broke this down before, man. But it's all right. It's always good. One thing about learning is you always got to redo it. You always got to relearn stuff, and then finally it sinks into the brain. All right? Colossians 2 and 14. Read that. Come on, quicker with the sword, man. Like we at Kent, man. Yeah, yeah.
Book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 14. Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us.
What does that mean, my body?
Taking away the sin.
Read it again. No, read it again.
Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us.
What was against us? What are the ordinances that was against us? If you commit this sin, nigga, you die. Right? Let's give some examples. That'll be Leviticus 20 and 10. Numbers. Then you can also go to Numbers 19 and 1 through 10. You can also go to Hebrews chapter 10 from 1 to 10, right? You can even go to 1 Samuel 15 and 22. I'm going to repeat those precepts so everybody can write them down. Leviticus 20 and 10. Numbers 19, 1 through 10. Hebrews 10, 1 through 10. And 1 Samuel 15 and 22. Okay? That's why it says, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to the cross. Why do you think people were going crazy when Gentiles were coming to the temple that were Israelites? Want to know why? Because they were uncircumcised. They were into idolatry. They were cast out of the land. But through the blood of Christ, they were given a second chance. That's all this is talking about. It's not talking about the Mosaic law is done and away with, because that's what a Christian will say. This is talking about that Christ is our sacrifice now. You understand? Huh? 1 Samuel 15 and 22. And then look at verse 15. And have spoiled principalities and powers. He made a show of them, openly triumphing over them in it. Let no man judge you in meat or drink. You know what a Christian is say here? I can eat whatever I want. No. Now you have to explain this. Or in respect of a holy day, or a new moon, or Sabbath days. Here's the precepts to this. Ezekiel 45 and 17. Write that down. Leviticus chapter 2, 1 through 3. Leviticus 23 and 37, and the niggas beheaded. That's it. It's talking about sacrifice, because sacrifices were given on new moons, sacrifices were given on holy days, sacrifices were given on Sabbath. Meat and drink offerings were given on those days. That's why it says, let no man judge you in meat or drink. I got you, no problem. Ezekiel 45 and 17, Leviticus chapter 2, verse 1 through 3, Leviticus 23 and 37. All right, Khan? Khan?
Khan.
All right. Y'all don't even look good.
What?
Yeah. I like that. That's a good one. All right, let's go back to Romans real quick. Anybody else had any other precepts? Real quick before we continue.
Azaram had Leviticus 16, 8 through 10.
Okay. Yeah, you can read that real quick before we continue.
It's Leviticus chapter 16, verse 8. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, one lot for the Lord, which is Yahweh, and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which Yahweh's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahweh, to make an atonement with him, and let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness.
That's a good precept, huh? Any other ones? That's a good precept.
Barzal, 1 John 2 and 16.
Oh, no. Hold that.
That's part of it.
Yeah. Barzal up in here in my notes. Yeah?
Hebrews 7 and 18, for there is verily a disannulment of the commandment going before, for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but bring in of better hope, by the which we draw nigh.
Where you at? And you got to read louder too. But where you at? Let me see. Hebrews what?
Hebrews 7 and 18.
Let's see. You got to explain it. For it verily a disannulling of the commandment going before the weakness, profitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in a better hope did. What that mean? What does that mean?
For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before the weakness.
You got to read up. You got to talk up.
For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof.
What does that mean?
For there is verily a disannulling means discontinuation.
Discontinuation of what?
The commandment.
What commandment?
Ceremony.
You got to read the whole chapter to get the context of this. It's talking about the priesthood. Going to the priesthood of Melchizedek. That's what it's talking about. All right? Any other precepts?
But whoever has iPhone, you got to change your name.
It's good. Only one. It's all right. I'll be knowing where. Just type it in the thing.
That's all I usually talk about.
Con. Yeah, let's go back to Romans 1 and read 26.
Verse 26. For this, God gave them up to their vile affections.
For what?
For even their
Hold on. Read it again. Take it slow.
For this, God gave them up unto vile affections.
Why did God give them up unto vile affections? Kwame. Read it again. Kwame lost. Look at him. With his Tupac and Biggie t-shirt on. Yeah, read it again.
For this, For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections.
Why did God give them up unto vile affections? Huh? Why are you not there? Romans 1 and 26. Powerful. Come on, Quan. For this God gave them up unto their vile affections. Why did God give them up unto their vile affections? You know what you got to do sometimes? You got to read the verse above it. Did you do that?
Yeah.
What does it say? Read it out loud, nice and loud. Not with your little poppy shampoo voice.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator.
Right.
Who is blessed forever.
Read.
For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections.
Why did God give them up unto vile affections? What does the previous verse say? Because they serve the creature more than the Creator. Don? All right, all praises. Keep reading.
For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature.
Leviticus 18 and 22. Leviticus 18 and 22. And you get Isaiah 3 and 9.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind.
That what?
Thou shalt not lie with mankind.
Go ahead.
As with womankind.
Uh-huh.
It is abomination.
Verse 23.
Verse 23. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto.
You see that? The Lord, made these laws because this is what was going on. You understand that? You got a precept in the Zoom?
Yeah, this precept goes to they turn the truth into a lie.
Yeah, read it real quick.
It's 2 Thessalonians
chapter 3.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Verse 9 2 through 12.
Okay, go ahead. It
says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
Sounds like a lot of these niggas on Clubhouse. Barack, you had a precept?
I have it. It's concerning the precept just brought out in the vile affections. This is Sirach chapter 15 and verse 16.
It's a good precept.
He hath set fire and water before thee. Stretch forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt. Before man is life and death, and whether him liketh shall be given him. So in the vile affections, life or death is before you choose making, as the scriptures say,
choose life,
right, that you may live.
Get that Isaiah.
This is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9. The shew of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom.
This sounds like the LGBT 666, all the other letters community. Right? Let's read verse 26 again in Romans 1. Then we could go into a little history. You know how I am.
Verse 26.
Uh-huh.
For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change their natural use.
All right, this is from Seneca the Younger. All right. This is from lived from 4 BC to 65 AD. All right, we're going to read this. It says, and they even match the men in their passions, although they were created to feel love passively. May the gods and goddesses confound them. They devise the most impossible varieties of unchastity, and in the company of men, they play the part of men. You listening? What wonder then that we can trip up the statement of the greatest and most skilled physician when so many women are gouty and bald? Because of their vices, women have ceased to deserve the privileges of their sex. They have put off their womanly nature and are therefore condemned to suffer the diseases of men. This has been going on since ancient times. You think a nigga being a what they call him? A butch, a dyke? You think this is new? This shit ain't new, man. You think a nigga saying, hey, how you want your coffee? You think that's new? That shit ain't new, man. This shit is ancient. You understand me? Ancient. This shit go way back. Keep reading.
Verse 27. And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust, one towards one another, one towards another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense.
What's recompense? What's a recompense? Don't guess. Look it up. Oh, I got you. No, leave his phone. He's recording. Oh, that's your phone? You recording too? What's going on? Y'all be recording me, man. Y'all the feds, man.
Recompense is compensation, payment for a debt or obligation.
So what are they getting paid for? That act that is sodomy. And what is their payment? Syphilis. STDs. You understand?
There's also punishment and retribution.
Right. Keep reading.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one towards another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
Go ahead.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
God gave them up, man, to a reprobate mind. Go ahead.
To do those things which are not convenient.
The Ephesians 5 and 2, real quick. Real quick. Ephesians chapter 5. Real quick.
Ephesians chapter
Start at 2 for the context. Yeah.
Book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 2. And walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling Savior.
Go ahead.
But fornication.
But what?
But fornication.
Read.
And all uncleanness. Or covetousness, let it not be named once. Let it not be once named among you.
Let it not be once named among you. And it's been named among us a lot. You understand? Stop abusing grace. It's here to take your ass out. You understand? The letters of Paul was written for our learning, so we can learn now. What Christ wrote onto the churches in the book of Revelations is so we can learn from their mistakes instead of making it ourselves. You understand that? Because the Lord don't give a damn how many precepts you know. If you ain't walking this shit, he'll take your ass out. And he'll send you strong delusions and have you bugging the fuck out. So you finally wake up, but you don't want to wake up when it's too late. You don't want to wake up down the block in a cardboard box. You understand me? You don't want to wake up when you're finally in jail with a black eye because that nigga just beat you up. You don't want to wake up and you're in a hospital with bullet wounds inside of you. You understand me? You don't want that to happen. You better wake up now before it's too late. Con? All right, let's go. Let's get 1 John 2 and 16. Charles, I was trying to steal my piece. Kidding me? Do you read?
This is my new Bible.
He said, nah, you're going off. What new Bible is this? Let me see this. Thomas Nelson. I know y'all going off. Worship the preacher?
Sir,
I'm playing with you.
This is 1 John 2, verse 16.
Yeah.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
Read it again.
For all that is in the world.
But everything that's in the world is what?
The lust of the flesh.
The lust of the flesh. Good.
And the lust of the eyes.
And the lust of the eyes. Pornography. Right? Good.
And the pride of life.
And the pride of life. Read.
It's not of the Father.
It's not of the Father, man. Good.
But is of the world.
Keep reading.
And the world passeth away. And the lust thereof.
Good.
But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
See that? The world is gonna be destroyed, man. This world is gonna pass away. And everybody that is indulging in the ways of this world is going to die with it. But the ones that do the will of the Father and fight against this wicked ass world and against those demons that you battle on a day-to-day basis, you just might make it. I don't know. We're the hopeful elect. You understand? Hopeful. Because none of us know. We dare not make ourselves of the numbers. Con? Let's get Psalms 119 and 9. Oldie but goodie.
Book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his ways.
Read it again.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his ways.
How are you going to cleanse your ways, man? How are you going to fight the battle that you're fighting? Read.
By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
By taking heed according to thy word. What does James 1 and 22 say? Don't be a hearer, but be a doer. Deceiving yourself. You understand? Read.
Verse 10. With my whole heart have I sought thee. Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments.
Let me not wander from thy commandments. Because the commandments is a what? There's a lamp. There's a light upon you, right? It keeps you out of the darkness. You understand? And the Christian church and this world doesn't want you to keep these commandments because this is the way of life. What did the Lord say? What did YHWH say? Want to enter into life? Yeah, go keep the commandments. How can you get away that? You see that? And he said, my commandments are not grievous. They're not grievous. But you want to know what makes people not want to keep them? The lust of the flesh, man. That's what it is. Let's get Colossians 3 and 5.
This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Mortify therefore your members.
Mortify therefore your members. This wicked ass flesh, man. What does the scripture say? The spirit is willing, right? Flesh is weak. So what are you supposed to follow after? Spirit. And how do you tap into the spirit? What is spiritual? The law. Exactly. That's in Romans chapter 7. The law is spiritual and holy. The law is what keeps you in check. You understand? That is what makes us different and makes us what? Not just the light. That's the wisdom that we have above the nations. Right. The scripture says in Deuteronomy. In Deuteronomy chapter 4, that's right. That's the wisdom that we have, that the nations are going to be like, look at those people. Look how great those people are. Because of the way we move. The wisdom that we have, how clean we are. You understand that? Read it again.
Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth.
Somebody get the Greek for mortify. Yeah. Say the group. Say the number. The word. That.
This is G34. This is G3499. And the Greek word is necro. And the definition is to make dead, to put to death, slay, worn out of an appointed old man, to deprive of power, destroy the strength of.
See that? You got to control your flesh. Because if not, your flesh is going to bring you on to death. You understand that? Keep reading.
Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth.
Go ahead.
Fornication.
Fornication. There you go. Fornication. Go ahead.
Uncleanness.
Uncleanliness. Uncleanness. Go ahead.
Inordinate affection.
Inordinate affection. Read.
Evil concupiscence.
An evil mind. Evil thoughts. Go ahead.
And covetousness.
Covetousness. Read.
Which is idolatry.
Which is idolatry. And in the law, what happens when you're an idol worshiper? You get murked. So what is the Lord going to do when he returns? He's going to judge you by the law. You understand? Everybody's getting judged by the law. Everybody.
Dad, can you give a clean definition for fornication?
A fornication is any unclean sexual act. So that'd be homosexuality. That'd be bestiality. That'd be adultery. That'd be whoremongering. All of those fall under fornication. Con? Keep reading.
Verse 6. For which things sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience.
See, the wrath of God is going to come on the children of disobedience. Read.
And the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in
He
them.
said, but hold on. Remember, you once walked in some time when you lived in them. He also got to remind you too. Right? Don't forget, nigga. You was doing the same shit these niggas is doing. And you can go right back to it. Read.
Verse 8. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communications out of your mouth.
Go ahead.
Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds.
Go ahead. With his what?
With his deeds.
Read.
And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge.
Which is renewed in knowledge. Go ahead.
After the image of him that created him.
After the image of him that created him. So when God said he created man in his image, what was that image? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He gave them the secrets and the laws of life. You understand? That's what this is talking about. Con? All right, anybody got questions before we close out? Zoom questions? Go ahead, Doc.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 7. This is going along with Yawasap broke down capital. This is one of the capital commandments that the Lord has given. This is Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. No whore of the daughters of Israel, what you see our women here doing today, and the sodomite, the men of Israel, what you see our men here doing today.
Like I said, you don't put away that secret sin, and pornography is something that's plaguing the earth. It's plaguing the Israelite community. You don't put away that secret sin, and you don't reveal unto the Lord and confess unto the Lord with repentance what you're hiding underneath your tent. You don't give the Lord the Babylonian garments, he can burn it in the fire. You will get burned in the fire with it. Con?
Barazal asked that Colossians 3 and 5 been read.
Is he listening?
Where was he?
Tell Barazal, pay attention. We read that. We just read that now. Go on. Anybody else got any questions from the Zoom?
Comment.
Kishma, what's good, sis?
Excellent use of technology during this lesson. The volume was perfect and it was easier to see the video.
Hey, we getting better, man. We tired of y'all rebuking us on Zoom, man.
Water also for putting some of the verses up. Oh, Barazal said he left, so he's here.
We're going off, Barazal.
Alright, that's it.
Nobody else got any questions in the Zoom? We can give it a couple more minutes. Any questions in class? Kwame, you good? You over there playing with your Jerry curls.
The bar said this class was fired.
All praises.
3 flames.
3 flames? Not 2. I got 3.
Yeah, 3 flames.
All praises. I appreciate it. You got any questions, sis? In the back? No? Take a lesson. Anybody else? Everybody convicted today. Look at niggas is sick. Niggas was sick. I was bringing out certain shit. I'm looking around. Niggas sinking in their seats. Niggas said, "Huh? Barzal, we playing, man. Stop being emotional, man. We playing." You got a question, Shaquat? Yeah. This was concise, guys. Contextually accurate. Thanks to Barazal, we stole that from you, by the way. Contextually accurate. Look at them, they still playing. Look, these niggas, you can't put. Listen, you see in the Zoom. Can you see them? You can't put these guys next to each other. You can't, man.
Juan said, great class.
Hey,
everyone bleeding.
All praises.
Be yourself.
All praises. Get the hell out of here, Yeshaya. Get out of here, Yeshaya. All right, man. Let's rise and face the east, man.
This is Psalm chapter 119. Teach me, O Yahweh, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end. Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law. Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart. Make me to go in the path of thy commandments, for therein do I delight. Incline my heart unto thy testimonies, and not to covetousness. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in the way. Establish thy word unto thy servant, who is devoted to thy fear. Turn away my reproach, which I fear, for thy judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness. In the name of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Wadat Miyad, Aman.
Everybody else.